3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3. Five. I hope you can hear me now. Hurrah. Sorry about that, everybody. Yay, sound, I know. So, I'll just wait for a few more people to turn up. Hooray! It works. Hallelujah. Well, that's one way of spelling it. Great. We'll just wait for people to catch up, and then we'll start off. I'm so sorry about the slight problems that we've been having. It has been a day. I've been trying to do some teaching earlier today, and hello, 10. Oh, marvelous. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a particularly trying day. On Sunday morning, my internet stopped working. The Wi-Fi feed completely broke down. We think it's the modem, but we're not sure because we were using a hub that operated using a separate modem, and it appears that that's burnt out. Anyway, I contacted BT. They said, that's fine, we'll order you some new equipment. And then a little while later, this beautiful thing turned up. This is a BT mini hub, and that is currently what you're looking at me from, with the, so this is going out via 4G, via the mobile phone network. And they were supposed to send a new hub, which they have failed to do. And I phoned them up this morning, and they said it'll be delivered later today. And I phoned them up this evening when it hadn't turned up, and they said, oh yes, the order appears to have been cancelled. So it's been one of those days. And then I set up this, I always do this, I set up this feed, this broadcast yesterday, sent out the details this morning. It was all running fine. It was all working on the, I have no idea, but I logged on 15 minutes ago and it simply wasn't, I mean, it was there. It was there. There was just no way of getting it live. Anyway, here we are. Thank you so much for persevering and for making it here. And we will hope that some more people join us as the time goes by, and that Claire has managed to send out the message to everybody. Hello, Julia. Hello, Carol. Hello, Salam. Sel, isn't it? And woohoo, yes, indeed. And we'll see how we go. Right, let's give ourselves a shake out. And I was very interested to see a similar video that was being operated by a group called the 16, who were doing a very similar thing. And very similarly, they started off with all the same warm-up exercises that we're doing. So that's a very good sign, isn't it? So please shake out your hands and give your shoulders a good pinch up. And an interesting development on that was a pinch up and a pinch back, and another pinch back, and another pinch back, and another pinch back, and then until it's quite hurting quite a lot, and then drop them down. And you should feel your shoulder muscles nice and relaxed after that. Yes, thanks, Claire. I'm so glad you sent it. Yes, and people are turning up. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. Good. Okay. And just a rolling of the shoulders. The problem is always not that you've come to the end of a long day and you need to be prepared to be ready to sing. It's that you've possibly spent the day not perhaps exercising as much as you would like, and all of that starts building up tension that we need to get rid of. Okay, and feel your arms dropping down, and then if we can just reach straight up for a nice big stretch, as if you're about to dive off the top of diving board into a pool. Stretch up for that, and out to the side, and if we can take a nice deep breath in and let out an enormous yawn. Thanks, Diana. Yes, thanks for joining us for this bit. Here we go. We're going to take in the breath and let out a feeling that position, that slightly increased area of space inside the throat is so important. Hello, we're up to 30. Isn't that brilliant? So take in that gentle breath, but also feel that the back of your throat is slightly stretching open in that slight pull. So here's another yawn. Fantastic. Little bit of a... And now what I would like you to do, in the past couple of weeks, we've been working on exercises. And what I'd like to do now is to work on towards another similar exercise, but this is called a puffy cheek exercise, okay, where we're going to do this. So using your voice, but we're just pressing air out against a constriction here and blowing your cheeks out. So this is a continuation of the exercise that we did in with the straw into the glass of water. Okay, so let's put a few higher pitches into there. So take a breath and slide from a high pitch down to a low pitch on a puffy cheeks. And very good. And one more of those. Breath in and so again, feeling that your muscles are doing a little bit of work down here. Okay, and another one in, and we're going to do 2 little stabs this time. Same thing, so breath in. So I'm almost doing a v, but not quite. It's the lips that are pulling together rather than teeth against the lips. Okay, let's do one again. And this time I'd like you to count out for a count of 7. So we're going to go breath in and Nice count of 7 there on that puffy-lipped vocalized exercise. Okay, we're going to do 9. Breath in. See if you've completely emptied your lungs by then. Okay, well done. Let's give ourselves some pitches, shall we? There's my favorite B-flat chord. And we're just going to start on the same thing, that puffy lips. Always going up and down a fifth because it's a really good one. But I can feel already, talking to you, I can feel, having done that puffy lipped exercise, my voice starts focusing itself. The vocal folds start coming together in a better way simply by doing that. It's a really good exercise to get things working. So, breath in, here's the pitch, and 1, go. Upper semitone, and 1, 2. And upper semitone, 1, 2. And upper semitone. Now, interestingly, those people who made comments and sent them in, and thank you so much for doing that. I'm currently going through them all, and some of you, no, all of the comments that came through were really, really good comments. I'm really glad that you made those. And I shall be seeking to incorporate all of them in the next couple of weeks. One of you said that one of the things that confuses you most about it is this process of breathing in, and that where the muscles should be operating and what you should be feeling. The simple answer to that is that you should, the tummy muscles here, I'm going to show you the tummy muscles down here. They should all be feeling as relaxed as possible when you're breathing in. So you actually feel that that's all dropping forwards. It's during the breath out that we start utilizing those muscles and sucking in our tummy, or pressing in our tummy. So when you breathe in, you should be feeling that you've dropped, that you've increased by at least 1 or 2 waistband sizes. Okay, so hand down here and back to puffy lips. And here we go. Oh no, I didn't give you a new pitch, did I? Let's take it to there. Ready? And 1. Upper semitone, 1, 2. One more. And here's another. Up to F and go. It's really good to make sure that you're providing the breath flow and providing a nice relaxed jaw position, because you can't really do this if your jaw is too tense. There's another exercise that we will go on that does that even better in just a moment. 2 more for the basses and altos. 1, 2. One more. And I last asked you, I may have asked it last week, it's useful if you can have a screen or a reflective surface or a mirror or a picture frame that you can look into to make sure your cheeks are in fact doing everything that we've just said here. There is this that there is this pressure, because there are a lot of people who, if they try this, will end up going, and nothing's going to happen. Okay, as if you're blowing out candles. Right, here we go. So can we take up, down? We're going to go down now, and we're going to do the octaves. So the same exercise, but going up the octave. Ready? And 1. Remembering your posture. 1, 2. Upper semitone. 1, 2. One more, ready? One more exercise. 1, 2. Good. Okay, so that is an excellent exercise for getting us starting, and I can certainly feel the benefits of my voice. Everything sounds a little bit more in focus at the top. I hope it does for you too. Let's take the next one up, which is making sure that the lips are also relaxed. And you can do this now simply by breathing out and making a tractor noise. Now, I'm aware that the refresh rate of the YouTube video is such that it makes my lips look very strange at this point. Like they're going up and down in slow motion. See if you can do that. Make sure, and if you can't, find a way of making it happen. It's just about relaxing your lips and pushing enough air past them. See if you can do it on a small amount. Most people, when they get to the end of a working day, can do that. But it's got to be relaxed. There's no point in trying to go, that's not going to work. Relax your lips, bring your mouth together slightly, and then... Okay, so we're going to try that now on a couple of pitches, starting here. Just sing it on that note. Ready? Go. I've got a lovely picture in my head of lots of people in their own homes going. But some people will be able to do this without any problem. So I'm going to assume that we're working with somebody who's finding it a little difficult, but has a moment halfway through where they suddenly go, oh my God, it's working. If you can do the breath and vibrate your lips on that, see if you can include your voice halfway through. And if you can't, then there is definitely something that you're doing to restrict breath flow as soon as you start singing. The breath flow needs to continue. So once you can make it work on a voiced note, and if you're finding it difficult again, try different pitches. You may find that works, whereas doesn't. Works maybe slightly better. We're all doing telephone impressions here, ladies and gentlemen. We can start moving the pitch up and down. So let's see. I'm assuming that most people have got that. If you haven't, keep trying at it, because it is really, really crucial. By keeping these lips vibrating, you are not only making sure that there is enough breath flow, but you're also regulating the breath flow to make sure that there's not too much, because you can have too much of a good thing. Too much breath, not enough voice. So here we go. And let's start with... Ready, go. And your challenge is to try and keep that going right through to the end. Upper semitone. Great. Okay. Yes, this is great. My cat is now completely convinced that I've gone bonkers. Well, we knew this ages ago. Okay. Ready? Ready and. Singing teachers call this exercise lip bubbles. 1, 2. This would be a terrible exercise for social distancing, wouldn't it? 1, 2. Challenge is to continue it for as long as you possibly can. 1, 2. I'm deliberately facing off slightly so that just in case the webcam gets covered in spit, which would be very unfortunate, wouldn't it? Now, if you are struggling with this, while we're doing this exercise, please keep going with the lower one. Or if you are struggling with that, keep going on just. And if you're struggling on that, then go and make a cup of tea because you're in trouble. Right, here we are. So basses and altos should still be able to use this one. Ready? Terrific. And a semitone up. 1, 2. Good. Altos and basses may want to drop out now. Sopranos and tenors keep going. 1, 2. And give a half a moment's thought to what you're doing with your tongue in here, and make sure that it is touching those inside bottom front teeth. Okay, upper semitone, tenors and sopranos. 1, 2. It's another perfect exercise for making sure that your nose is closed off, of course. And that your neighbours think you've gone slightly doolally. 1, 2. And 1, 2. And we're going to do one more. 1, 2. Okay, welcome the altos and the basses back, and let us do a few more vowel exercises now, getting straight from that onto ooh. So back to a B flat, and we're going. So a nice strong V first, and then on to the singer's arpeggio, going round ooh. Ready? 1, 2. Good. Upper semitone. 1, 2. Upper semitone. 1, 2. Upper semitone and the higher we're going, the more our mouth needs to open up as we're going up that exercise. Upper semitone. 1, 2. And I'm consciously placing my tongue there, despite the fact that I'm singing ooh usually results in a tongue that's kind of pulled back and pressed down. But we don't want that. We want our tongue to be nice and raised, because here's the thing to think about. Your tongue, when it's completely relaxed, fills your mouth. If you shut your mouth and don't think about your tongue, most people, there are one or two exceptions, but most people will allow their tongue to fill the space occupied by their mouth. The tongue will place itself up against the hard palate and just sit there. And then when it is in that position, your tongue is filling the space from there down to here. It's actually ball-shaped. It's exactly the same height when it's relaxed as it is deep. Your tongue only extends to about there. We think of it going all the way back here, but it really only goes there. So the tongue is a relaxed ball. Ready? Upper semitone. 1, 2. Upper semitone. Upper semitone. 1, 2. Altos and basses are better drop out again. Semitones, sopranos. 1, 2. And one more, sopranos and tenors. 1, 2. And the last one, where are we? A flat. 1, 2. Great. Okay. Now, I can't remember whether it was last week or the week before, or not at all, but we talked about the 2 dicky birds. 2 dicky birds. Now, if anybody can remember, if they think, no, you haven't mentioned the dicky birds at all, of course, normally in the last 15 minutes beforehand, I would look copiously at my notes, but I wasn't able to do that because we were. So if somebody could just chat to say, dicky birds? No, we haven't mentioned the dicky birds. Or, yes, you did, and I didn't understand it. Or, I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention. Anyone? No, because if I don't hear anything, you're going to get the story of the dicky birds. But it's a very, very useful little step onto the next exercise. No, don't remember any dicky birds. Excellent, that's fantastic. I didn't think I'd done it with you. So, in the past, we've been talking about how important it is to keep your nose closed internally. And that is a little closure that happens right at the back of the throat, just behind where your uvula hangs down. That is the velopharyngeal port, and it is somewhere that you have some control over, like when you've been singing and when you've been singing you instinctively close off the V port. Otherwise, all the air comes out of your nose and not your mouth. This is something that we need to control, and we need to practice controlling it. And most of the time that we're singing, most of the time, not all the time, but most of it, we do need to keep that closed and make sure that our sound is coming out of our mouth, as I've bored you rigid with in previous sessions. However, there are a couple of examples where you can't do that, such as I can't sing with a closed V port or my head would explode. So I have to open my V port and let the air out of my nose when I sing or an N or bring it on. Excellent, Irene. Thank you very much. So those are the 3 examples that everybody needs to open their V port, and sopranos and tenors particularly, when you're singing quite high, it sometimes becomes useful to access little bits of resonance that you might not otherwise be able to access. Basses and altos have very little reason. I mean, this is a generalization, but very little reason to open it. However, all need to be sung with an open V port. The problem then is if you've sung a word such as marvelous, having sung that with an open nose, the tendency is then to keep the nose open during the R, and you can end up then with marvelous. I don't know if you can hear the difference. To me, it sounds very different. It becomes far more nasal. Now, it will sound better to you that way, because if you are filling your nose with resonance, you get more feedback through your own skull. It sounds great to you. Lovely. But none of that is coming out to everybody else. So our job as singers is to make it lovely for other people to listen to, not self-gratifying for us. And so we need to make sure that the V port shuts back down after having sung a And so I've made up this little exercise. We have two openings. We have one opening at the back. That's the V port. This is the place where we can open up a channel through to the nose. And we have another opening, our mouth. And when we're singing v, although there's a closure here, this is open. So there it is, open. That's one dicky bird. And this is closed. There's the other dicky bird. When one dicky bird is closed, the other one has to be open. Otherwise, your head will explode. Okay? You can open both, but that's what we're trying to avoid. So my hands are in the position as if I'm holding a Downton Abbey style telephone. Yes, hello. But if I'm trying to sing I need to swap these two over. Now my V port is open and my lips are closed. So I'm wondering if you're trying that at home or if you've decided to put the dishes on. I would love you to try it. So let's start with V going to So V has an opening at the front, and the reason I'm asking you to doing this is that it helps, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. Having an external figure or visualization or embodiment of what's going on in tiny little movements in your head can really help you coordinate them. So here is open there, closed here. You try it. Starting on a V, go. Good. So that is an exercise to try out. Presumably, when there's nobody else around. And you're looking to do two things. One, you're looking to increase the speed that you can alternate between v and m. And the other one is make sure you are still singing the same pitch on both of those. Because when you change from v to m, you're elongating the vocal tract. Goes through a longer channel, and so the pitch will tend to sink if you're not careful. And we always want a single pitch, and so lots of practice to try and make sure. And certainly when I'm going from v to I'm feeling a little boom here, at the back of my nose, which is enabling me to realize, when that changeover is happening. Okay, so there's a good exercise, the two diggy bird exercise. Please do practice it. Okay, great. We're going to move on to some sight reading. We've reminded ourselves of our pentatonic scales, okay, where we were looking at do, re, mi, so, la, and do. And so let's just remind ourselves of that. Ready? So here are the exercises. I'll do them, then I'll sing them to you. But please sing together with the hand movement and see if you can second guess where the pitch is. Ready? Go. Do, re, mi, so, mi. Breath. So, la, la, so, mi. Breath. Do, la, so, mi, so, mi. Breath. Mi, so, re, so, do. Good. Nice slow one to start with. I do hope you've all managed to keep up with that. By practicing it, you will get better at it. Key thing is to remember to keep singing. Keep singing the notes. Don't give up and don't start singing do, re, mi. Keep singing the old note and working out what the new one is. Great. I'm going to take it up a semitone. There. Up to there. And we are going to include a new note now. I told you that, and it was interesting, some people commented, oh, why have you avoided the fourth? The fourth is my favorite interval. And I love the fact that you've got a favorite interval. That's brilliant. It's never occurred to me to have a favorite interval. I think that, I mean, they're all, you know, I was brought up in the 1980s studying music at Goldsmiths College, where you had to learn serialism and all intervals were equally valid. So that's where I am with that. Anyway, the fourth. Do, re, mi, fa. There's a reason I haven't brought it in yet. It's a bit of a shocker, is the fourth. Do, re, mi, fa. If I stop there, it seems that we've entered a new key altogether, which we can't have done with any of the previous ones. Do, re, mi, so, la, so, do. All of that sits nicely within one chord. Do, re, mi, sol, la, sol, mi, le, do, la, do. As soon as I sing fa, do, re, mi, fa, I have to consider a new chord. And that is why fa is a much later invention than all the rest of them. Okay, a much later invention. However, once it was invented, there was no going back. And this new idea of the semitone started causing as many problems as it opened up opportunities. Do, re, mi, fa. Well, you could think to yourself, okay, well, that's the new note that I'm going to go on. But as soon as you start singing do, re, mi, fa, then you end up with a note that didn't exist in the original key. And that is what caused all sorts of problems for Guido d'Arezzo, who first came up with this system and got him thrown out of the monastery where he was trying to include it. He had to move to Arezzo, where they took him on and eventually named him after themselves. So that gives us a new note and the idea of a semitone. The semitone provides a leading quality to it. Do, re, mi, fa, ta, dam. There's a very nice story about Mozart being woken up in the morning by his father, who would go to the piano and play. At which point Mozart, poor devil, would have to rush downstairs in order to finish it off. That semitone gives us a sense of completion and also of forward movement. I know those two things are completely incompatible, but never mind, it does both. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. But we're not dealing with T yet. Okay, let us do some of those exercises using la and fa. Here is a chord. Do, go. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, mi. Breath. Mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi.